Winston Churchill went for a swim. There's an advertising vehicle for Peter's Brothers shoe repair, and it's shaped like a boot. It's from California around 1922. Mahatma Gandhi as a young man, sometime in the late 1800s. Betty Grable, a prominent actress, singer and dancer in the 1940s, was famously known as the woman with the $1 million legs. A fake city on the roof of a factory that produced Boeing combat airplanes. This was in the United States in 1944. British troops training on disabling landmines in the 1940s. A policeman in San Francisco is scolding a man for not wearing a mask during the 1918 influenza pandemic in 1918. Two African-American GIs pose with personalized artillery shells labeled Easter eggs for Hitler. This captures their spirit and humor during World War II in the 1940s. Kids are hiding under a desk during a 1950s civil defense drill at school. (1955) and an owner and their dog are settling in for a cut and blow dry at a salon. This is an exercise machine designed to roll the fat out of legs from 1936. Sledding down Art Hill after the 1904 World's Fair was over. St. Louis, 1904. Welsh spiritualist Colin Evans pretends to levitate by jumping up and down in total darkness. He filmed himself with an infrared camera in London, 1939. Excuse our backs, our faces are dirty, around 1899. With a canvas tarpaulin for a church and packing cases for an altar, a Navy chaplain holds Mass for Marines at Saipan. The service was held in memory of brave buddies who lost their lives in the initial landings, 1944. It was the last day of the football championship. This was in London in 1936. A little girl is in her pedal car. It's about 1922. Customers are browsing records in a London music store reflecting the vibrant post-war music culture. London, 1955. An aircraft crash on board during World War II. There was a saloon in Wisconsin in 1890 that gave kids their own child-sized beers. Photographer Richard Avedon, Jamaica, 1956. The Navajo Code Talkers and Their Unbreakable Code, 1942 to 1945. The LA Public Library's Bookmobile Program for the Sick, 1928. Dr. Hines gives a person an injection of fluids taken from a live hair. This, along with ultraviolet radiation and gymnastics, is supposed to lead to rejuvenation. This happened in Berlin in 1925. A Gestapo informer is recognized by a woman she had denounced at a deportation camp in Dessau, Germany. A danger pet. Looking at erotic comics in 1942 in the USA. One of the newly built quarter-ton, four-wheel amphibian jeeps, produced for United States fighting forces, leaves solid ground for a test run in an ice-clogged stream in the Detroit area on March 23, 1943. General Patton's Bull Terrier, Willie, on the day of Patton's death, December 21, 1945. People are swimming around the Kaaba, the holy place of the Muslims, after a heavy rain. Alright, here we go. This is the all-new baby safety seat dating from the 1950s. In 1939, Franklin D. Roosevelt became the first US president to appear on TV. FDR gave a speech to open the 1939 World's Fair in New York, which was televised. Alright, here we go. There are 3 old-school archers in Japan sometime during the 1860s. Richard Nixon met John McCain after he returned home from being a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Women workers are grooming lines of transparent noses for A-20 attack bombers. This is in October 1942. A freshly painted M4 Sherman tank sits inside an infrared lamp tunnel. This tunnel is designed to cut the paint's drying time from 24 hours to 4 minutes. Men with a Leopard at Dongan Mission in 1932. Glurpo is the world's only underwater clown. Two NASA engineers are testing a scale model of a Saturn Y rocket in a wind tunnel during the 1960s. A soldier is on a US Harley-Davidson motorcycle around 1918. Actor Johnny Eck, who was born with an underdeveloped lower torso, poses for a promotional photo for the famous movie Freaks, 1932. Here's a cute photograph from an American photographer, Vivian Maier. It was taken in New York City, United States in 1954. The man in the middle is a college-age Richard Nixon. He was at Whittier College in 1974. A lone man is about to be swept away by a tsunami in Hilo, Hawaii in 1946. The milkman's reward for good measure. Nikola Tesla, a swimming instructor in New York 1900. Adolf Hitler was the best man at Joseph Goebbels' wedding. The first version of Ronald McDonald, which Willard Scott created in 1963, was a much more whimsical and clownish version than the character we know today. Flying circus performers Ivan Unger and Gladys Roy played tennis on the wing of an airplane, 1925. There are 5 seemingly close Union comrades Civil War era. A drunken man wearing a top hat and tails is clinging to a lamppost. This is London in 1934. Around 1905, we have an early LOL cat pioneer. A Nazi rally attended by 20,000 Americans. Madison Square Garden, 1939. When Howard Carter opened the door, he saw several objects. There was a chamber, and in the chamber there were 3 golden funerary beds. There was also a gilded wooden couch. At the end of the room was a golden shrine. He also found an alabaster vase, several ebony chairs, and a chest. He saw many other objects. Charlie Bell and his dog Trixie, from the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, 1941. This is a vintage Halloween costume. The costume is a child's outfit. It's a pumpkin costume. It has a jack-o'-lantern face on it. There's a service being held in Hoboken, New Jersey, for American soldiers who died on the battlefields of France during World War I, around 1920. (1967), the Patrouille Suisse, the acrobatic team of the Swiss Air Force during a loop in front of the Alps. Sleeping in an animal skin sleeping bag, 1888. The USS Langley, the first United States aircraft carrier. At Funfest in Washington, 1923, a strongman shows off his strength by holding up the weight of a car. The 79th floor of the Empire State Building, after being struck by a B-25 bomber, 1945. This farmer, he had a brilliant idea, dressing his scarecrow as a skeleton back in 1937. "3,000 men who helped build the Chase Manhattan Bank in New York City are posing for a photo near the end of the construction work. It was August 19th, 1964. A young woman is sand surfing near Seaside, Oregon in 1941. A beggar is running alongside King George V's carriage at the Epsom racecourse in 1920. A young mother, completely exhausted, spent hours making matchboxes. A pile of them is visible on the table. This was in London around 1890. In an underground surgery room behind the front lines on Bougainville, an American Army doctor operates on a United States soldier wounded by a Japanese sniper in 1943. There's a couple celebrating New Year's Eve using party blowers and streamers. It's 1930. Don't forget to cast rituals with your friends. 6 feet apart, please. The Devil Rides Out, 1968. Marilyn Monroe in a potato sack dress, 1951. Aboriginal Tasmanian Fanny Cochrane Smith, singing into her phonograph in 1903. Without her efforts to preserve her culture, we would have no audio traces of the Tasmanian language. Pretty OSC. The sports section is put together in the composing room, getting ready to print the New York Times, 1942. Dorothy Sebastian and Joan Crawford, Santa Monica Beach, California, 1928. A seal's putting on a show, balancing a doll. The audience are young people, and they're watching at a performance of the Krone Circus in Aachen, Germany, in 1961. The Women's Strike for Equality saw more than 20,000 women gather in New York City to protest for equal rights, access to abortion, and free childcare in 1970. Makeup artist Jack Pierce is getting Boris Karloff into character on the set of The Bride of Frankenstein in 1935. A carriage drawn by ladies. The Atomium in Brussels was built for the World's Fair in 1958. An officer is at a periscope in the control room of a submarine in 1942. In September 1955, as filming of Giant, which came out in 1956, was coming to an end, James Dean got a Siamese kitten from co-star Elizabeth Taylor, whom he had befriended during the film's shooting. The great Gamma, Ghulam Muhammad Baksh Butt, was a Pelwani wrestler in British India and a strongman. In the early 20th century, he was an undefeated wrestling champion of the world in 1910. This is a description of one of the first expeditions to Antarctica. The expedition included a ship named the Aurora. The ship sailed south, aiming to find the land claimed by Great Britain. On January 20th, 1912, the ship arrived and landed at Commonwealth Bay. The Maryhill Olympics, Glasgow, 1980. David Taylor's butcher shop, Wellington, New Zealand, 1910. The unusual shape of the shop makes it look like it's made of plywood. Unemployed, March 1933. A German soldier on the Eastern Front is making a political statement during the Second World War. Robert Wadlow, the Alton Giant and the tallest person in recorded history at 8 feet 11 inches, stands as a towering figure. Illinois, around 1939. A Cultus, or Barbarossa, robot was exhibited in Berlin in 1909 by Mr. Adolf Wittmann, a famous German inventor. The first day of class after federal courts mandated busing to end de facto segregation in Boston's public school system. Valerie Banks was the only student to show up for her geography class. Boston, Massachusetts, September 1974. Red Cross worker Anna Rochester helps provide an injured soldier with a little relief by lighting his cigarette at a military hospital in Souilly, France, during World War I. It was around 1917. Titanic orphans, brothers Michel and Edmund Navratil, 1912. They were the only children to be rescued from the Titanic without a parent or guardian. A young boy is posing with his deceased brother. It's the 1800s. This lifeguard with really long legs is supposed to be watching the swimmers, but everyone's looking at her. Steeplechase Pool at Coney Island is packed with people trying to cool off during the summer of 1942. Soldiers wearing gas masks are peeling onions at Tobruk on October 15th, 1941. Young riders are refueling during a children's sidecar race in the Lustgarten in Berlin, Germany in 1931. A singer is performing to bring joy and comfort to patients, brightening the atmosphere in a healthcare setting. 1927. The entire building went up in just over a year, under budget at $40 million and well ahead of schedule. A girl is feeding her feathered pet. The sunbather is catching some rays, showing off her curves on the beach of Coney Island in 1966. Le Petit Parisien, 1952. A telephone engineer in Mayfair, London in the 1920s. An early purveyor of 70s bushes. Children of a sharecropper pump water while their family prepares to resettle at the Transylvania Project. Louisiana, 1939. John Lewis was arrested in Tennessee for organizing and demonstrating during the Civil Rights Movement in 1961. Children, from an eastern suburb of London, who'd been made homeless by the random bombs of the Nazi night raiders, were waiting outside the wreckage of what used to be their home. This was in September 1940. Confiscated slot machines highlight the prevalence of illegal gambling in Middlesbrough, Bell County, Kentucky, 1950s.